His work, his dedication, and his life sacrifice has made it better for all of us today. There are very few people who are willing to give their life for a struggle, and John was willing to do that. And I believe that his legacy will be recorded as one of the great transformative figures in the 20th century.
Lewis's legacy reaches far, even here to Alaska. Channel 2's Grant Robinson spoke with an Anchorage resident who's been involved with the civil rights movement since 1963 about what people in the movement today can learn from Congressman Lewis.
It's hard to summarize the impact of a life like that of John Lewis. But for Anchorage activist Cal Williams, he says Lewis's life offers several lessons that still apply to the ongoing fight for equal rights.
We're marching today to dramatize to the nation, dramatize to the world.
They were born 2 years apart, and most of their activism was based in different states and with different organizations. But both John Lewis and Anchorage activist Cal Williams were entrenched in the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
I was drawn to him because, like me, he was one who was out there on the line, kind of taking the brunt of the action, while others were, making speeches and getting in the press, etc. I always considered John a street brother who was more militant than some of the others who he was surrounded with.
Though Williams was at some large gatherings Lewis was also involved with, the Anchorage activist didn't have one-on-one time with Lewis until he came to Alaska in 2002 to speak at an NAACP event.
You know, you meet people that you admire sometimes and you're disappointed at the meeting. Well, he lived up to my expectations.
Williams says what makes Lewis's legacy is that he never quit pursuing equality. Though the way he worked toward it evolved with time, his vigor remained.
The thing that we should take from Congressman Lewis is the fact that this movement is not an event. It is a long road, and it has to be sustained from one generation to the next. He was active in the 60s. He was active the day he died. And that's the kind of commitment we need. That's the kind of concern and patience that we have to have.
Williams says that in the wake of the death of George Floyd and other people of color, he's encouraged by the activism of younger generations and hopes young leaders study Lewis's life. In Anchorage, Grant Robinson, Channel 2 News.
Well, President Donald Trump offered condolences today.